James Kaufman, World News Report today. Grand jury declines to indict DOJ lawyer for throwing sandwich at ICE agent. A D.C. grand jury declined to indict the DOJ lawyer charged for throwing a Subway sandwich at a federal agent in Washington, D.C. Ladies and gentlemen, we can't have any of the trials there. This was blatant assault. A man in a salmon-colored t-shirt, obviously not straight, was caught on video throwing a sandwich at a federal officer in D.C. earlier this week after President Trump deployed the National Guard to patrol the streets. The sandwich thrower was identified as 37-year-old Sean Charles Dunn, a Department of Justice trial attorney. A D.C. grand jury refused to indict Dunn. CNBC reported federal prosecutors failed to obtain a grand jury indictment against a former, because he has been fired since then, Department of Justice employee who allegedly hurled a sandwich at a U.S. Customs and Border Protection officer who President Donald Trump had employed in Washington, D.C. The U.S. government and the American people employed him. The U.S. Attorney's Office in D.C. has sought to charge the man, Sean Charles Dunn, with felony assault of an officer for the August 10th sub-chunking incident, which was caught on video. The DOJ fired Dunn after his arrest. Well, you know what? They should have went after 10 other charges and still can. Many easily come to my mind that aren't as severe and would be simple to get an indictment for. It's a total joke. NBC News reported Wednesday that two people familiar with the matter said that a grand jury failed to indict Dunn in the case, which was heavily touted by Trump administration law enforcement officials. Pam Bondi had this to say directly following the incident. Quote, "If you touch any law enforcement officer, we will come after you. I just learned that this defendant worked for the Department of Justice no longer. Not only has he been fired, he's been charged with a felony." Well, ladies and gentlemen, although it was a felony, he should have been charged with 30 or 40 things so that something stuck. This is an example of the deep state, she continued, the one that we have been up against for 7 months as we work to refocus and reorganize the DOJ. You will not work in this administration while disrespecting our government and law enforcement, Attorney General Pam Bondi said. You might not work there, but you're sure not going to jail if you're a Democrat in D.C. This guy needs to be under the jail with the rest of the Democrats. God bless you and yours, folks. How about 3 or 4 misdemeanors like disorderly conduct? Do we need an indictment for that as well? God bless you and yours. They'll never indict any Democrat in D.C. The cases must be moved out of that city, period. Share, subscribe, and always remember, anything's possible in Bizarro World.